The next award is the Alan Yamato Taniguchi FAIA Award for Public Architecture, which is given to an architect whose work has significantly contributed to the public realm through advocacy, service, and design excellence. This year, we are honored to present this award to Evan Taniguchi, AIA, the son of the man whom this award is named. Evan has followed in his father's footsteps by dedicating his career to advancing public architecture and civic advocacy. His leadership has shaped some of Austin's most significant public policies and design initiatives, ensuring that the built environment remains equitable, inclusive, and forward-thinking. From his 14-year tenure on the Houston-Tillotson University Board, where he oversaw campus development, to his instrumental role in Planned Parenthood Austin's expansion, Evan has consistently used architecture as a tool for social impact. His leadership in organizations such as the Trail Conservancy and the Austin History Centers Association has helped preserve and enhance Austin's cultural and public spaces. Evan's contributions to City of Austin planning efforts, including his 13-year service on the Design Commission and leadership in shaping the Imagine Austin Comprehensive Plan, have made a lasting impact on how Austin grows and develops. His commitment to public service, advocacy, and thoughtful urban planning embodies the very essence of this award. Evan, your career has been defined by a deep sense of responsibility to the public realm and the greater good. It is with immense gratitude that we present you with the 2025 Alan Yamato Taniguchi FAIA Award for Public Architecture. Please join your longtime collaborator, Chef Ling Wu, who, with Jibby Ng, has underwritten your award, up here to accept this award.
Hey everyone, thank you all for being here. I'm truly honored. This is a great award. I was going to say that I sat in an AIA board meeting about 6 years ago when Ingrid and Michael Shue announced that they were going to change the name of this award from the Waller Award to the Ellen Y. Taniguchi Award. And I was going, man, I was really honored then. I never thought that I'd be a recipient of this. So it's very special to me that I'm able to get an award that has my father's name on it. I got a lot of people to thank. Yeah, first of all, and by the way, I've been around so long, I got a lot to say, but I'm going to try to keep it brief as possible. First of all, I got to give thanks to Chef Ling and Jimmy for underwriting this award. I met them. I was actually semi-retired, and I met them when they approached me to do their first restaurant, Lin Restaurant on West 6th Street. And after that, it became my life. You know, we became really close. We have a design build kind of a company together. And through all of that, and actually, we're working on our 5th restaurant now in Round Rock. 5th restaurant, yeah, in like 7 years, right? So that just shows the success of the Ling Wu restaurant chain. But anyway, after they approached me that first time for the first restaurant, we did that, and then all of a sudden they started doing all these other restaurants, and we became very close. We kind of work as a team, like I mentioned earlier. Also, since I'm a foodie, I was able to learn about the restaurant business. And it's so competitive. It just blows me away. There's so many restaurants in Austin. You can imagine trying to be successful, which they have done. And what I learned from the restaurant business is you have to have this magical formula to succeed. And what I learned from Chef Ling and Jimmy is that it's hard work. That's the hard work. I mean, they work hard. But the main thing is, and it doesn't hurt that Chef Ling is a renowned chef. And I mean, her food is awesome. It brings people in all the time. So I urge you all to go visit one of their restaurants if you haven't been. I had to put a plug in, right? And then I have to say thank you to my supporters who wrote these great letters for me. Everybody I approached, they had known my father and they knew me also. Sinclair, Donna Carter, Logan Wagner. Donna couldn't be here. She's got some health issues, but they have supported me. And I got a little tidbit here is that I consider Sinclair as my mentor, and he considers my dad as his. So it's full circle. And then last but not least, I have to thank AIA Austin. I mean, I love AIA Austin. I've been on the board back in the end of the 90s, 5 years then. and now I've been on this board for like 6 years. I got to say that Ingrid and her staff do an excellent job. I just love everything that's going on these days. I get to meet all these young people, and they're moving forward, focusing on advocacy. And that's what really inspires me to stay with them, is because they have kind of the same dreams I have. So thank you very much to AIA Austin. Okay, so my path to this public architecture, social activism, if that's what you want to call it, started when I was growing up. Of course, y'all know who Alan is. My mother had a lot to do with it. She instilled in my brother and I this social consciousness. They were always socially conscious, and they also were really into public service. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we're Japanese Americans, and we were robbed of our civil rights back during World War II. And I think that kind of inspires us, all Japanese Americans really, and all people who've been persecuted, right? It inspires them to move forward and try to do the best they can to improve the quality of life for everyone. So my mother, you heard about my dad. I mean, he was the dean of the School of Architecture. He made a lot of progressive moves there. He did a lot of stuff for the National AIA. He won the Whitney Young Award in 1997. But my mother she was the workhorse. She held us together. She used to work at AIDS services. She really cared for people. She worked at AIDS services, the food bank, Capital City Food Bank. And she was loved in the progressive community, the political community. She loved working on campaigns. Some of her best friends were Max Noffsinger, Bridget Shea, Frank Cooksey. Anyone who had a progressive agenda, she worked for. And she's kind of a legend in those circles, right? Everybody remembers Leslie bringing food, delivering, phone banks, delivering circulars, all that kind of stuff. So I dedicate this award to my mother. So we're talking about two deals. We're talking about public architecture, and we're talking about social activism. I like public architecture. The thing is it actually kind of like triggers public policy. And when that finally happens, it really does improve the quality of life for people. But it takes a long time, and it doesn't directly affect people. So I love my social activism because it really has an impact on people now. I mean, in real time, like they mentioned the Houston-Tillotson and the Planned Parenthood thing. I'll talk about that in more detail. But that's kind of this thing that inspires me to move forward in that direction. And the other thing is what I talked about, Japanese Americans being discriminated. So I'm trying to give back from what lessons we learned there. So this road kind of started in 1998 when Alan passed away. And I arranged the memorial service at Houston-Tillotson University Chapel. And I guess the guys were really impressed with how I handled everything. So afterwards, they asked me if I would serve on their board because my dad had already served 10 years, okay? And I went, well, I hadn't never served on a board except for AIA before. So I said, okay, I'll try this out. I ended up staying there for 14 years. I was the chairman of the Buildings and Grounds Committee. I foresaw all the projects that went on campus, the ones that they couldn't afford to build, when they had budget problems. I donated our firm's time. I think that was for like 4 projects. And the happiness I get from that is that it's a historically Black university. So, anything I could do to help these young Black kids get their education made me feel really good. And a lot of these kids, they were the first ones that ever went to college. So that was even more important to me. I wish Donna was here. The Planned Parenthood story is my favorite. I served on the HTU board for like 2 years. So I guess in 2002, I had several friends on the board of Planned Parenthood, and they approached me because they heard of what I was doing with the Buildings and Ground Committee. They asked me if I would serve on their board as the chair of their Buildings and Grounds Committee because they were going to build this new clinic, administration building, which would expand their campus quite a bit. So I took the project on. I worked to help get Donna Carter on board as the architect. I kind of called a lot of my friends, general contractors, if they would take the project on as GC. but because it was so controversial, we couldn't find anybody that wanted to do it. I finally found one firm, and I can't remember their name. We're really close, but after they signed the contract, they were pressured, they were getting threats over the phone, all this kind of stuff, so they withdrew. So I decided, well, I'll be the general contractor. I had no idea what I was up against. First thing we got to do, pour the foundation, all right? All the concrete companies in Austin boycotted us. So one of the board members, a good friend of mine, Dick Rathgaber, you probably heard of him, he helped me set up a concrete pour, by calling some of his friends in San Antonio. So they mixed the concrete, got in the truck. It took them, it took 2 hours to get here. We poured at 3 a.m. Nobody knew about it. So the next morning, all the protesters were out there. They're looking around. They see this foundation that's already finished. How did that happen? So they even ramped up their boycott efforts even more after that. So you can imagine how hard it was to get that thing built. And we finally did. Donna's team was very helpful. I had some construction experience, so I did whatever I could as managing the project from that end. But it finally ended up being finished very successfully, and it was a beautiful building. And the pride I get from that is helping women, underserved women that can't get reproductive care, much less affordable health care. So that's kind of like sparked all that. So, a lot of these award ceremonies, you see a lot of these award ceremonies, and everybody's kind of like taking jabs at the administration. I've tried really hard not to do that. I could spend 30 minutes doing that, but hey, we got better things to do. I appreciate all y'all for being here. I'm really honored to get the award. Thank you.